Namaste everyone. Very warm welcome. Sadhguru Shri Muji Baba ki Jai. Source of all confusion and suffering is nothing but confusion. And the source of all of it is only the mistaken identity. We identify with something that doesn't exist and has never existed. And actually, we might even say that we have to change our ID, change our identification to the right one. But we don't even have to do that. We only have to drop that which is false. Actually, don't even have to do that because it is already gone. So then what is left? If the source of all confusion, all suffering is mistaken identity, and we don't even have to drop it. Because what you are just now is not this identity. You don't have any identity right now. But within the content of this now, we seem to play this game. The game of identification. So what we are doing in Satsang is coming to clarity about what is here just now. And we can explore what term describes that best a little later. First, we come to this exploration of what is just here. And then you can tell me whether it is a person or whether it is God. This exploration is the inquiry. It's nothing difficult, nothing complicated. Just what is here. Let's see what we find. What is here? There's just
This I.
there's just I. That I, does it include this voice which you're hearing? What are the boundaries of this one? What are the attributes of this I? We can go step by step. Let's start with something that seems very basic. That all of these appearances are here. This body is here, this table is here, this computer is here, this voice is being heard. All of this is here. So where are all of this? In this apparent space, going really slowly. In this apparent space. Where is all of this appearance and space perceived? Are they perceived within you or outside? Yeah. The perception of all appearance, which includes the appearances of thoughts, memory, imagination, physical sensation. So there must be a space within you that perceives, that experiences, even this space in which all appearances are coming and going. And within all these appearances and sensations and perceptions, are there some special ones that contain an entity called me? Find out if any sensations contains a personal entity. Also check, where are you witnessing all of this from? What is the location of this witness? And what does this witness look like? How does the witness appear to itself? And if this witness has no appearance, how do you know that there is a witness? Don't give these questions to the mind. They will be extremely torturous. Look for yourself. Who is looking? What is witnessing all that is seen? No interpretation nor judgment is needed. No answer is needed. What is the witness of all things? Is there? Is there a witness?
Witnessing is there.
Witnessing is
there, but we can't find that the one who is witnessing.
Witnessing is there, but we can't find the one who is witnessing. And how do we know that witnessing is there?
Because we know.
Because?
We know. We are seeing.
Do you see it?
Yeah.
What sees it? What witnesses even this?
Yeah, behind something is there. Even if I try to see the witness, even that is also seen. That is also witness.
Yes. The eye that tries to see the witness. Is that the witness?
Because I cannot find the witness as it is. That
Yes.
witnessing is.
Yes. The I who cannot find the witness is found. Slowly.
There is no such I is see, only witnessing is see.
Then who found that the witness is not found?
That is the witness.
Slowly,
But he
slowly.
cannot objectively see or perceive.
Cannot objectively perceive. Cannot objectively perceive. You see? This knowing is not a subject of perception. This knowingness is beyond concepts and percepts, beyond ideas and perceptions. So how is it that when we check, it is so clear that I is this knowingness itself, which has no position in time and space, and yet we mostly pretend or pose as if we are some other I. What makes this happen?
So what's really seen here with that because it is so attributeless, so entirely transparent,
Yeah.
that the attention goes to anything that comes up,
Yeah.
anything, and then that gets the label of I or other.
Yes.
Um,
So attention is going, and yet attention is reporting back to who? To something with attribute.
without,
It is reporting back to something without
without
attribute,
any attribute.
and it is reporting back to you or not.
Yes.
So even in the play of attention,
Yes.
it must be apparent that all of this content
Yes.
is being witnessed
Absolutely. Yes.
by this attributeless one.
Yes. And
So even with the movement of attention, no trouble.
even with belief, nothing, no trouble actually almost.
Yes. Yes. But we are saying, how come it is that this attributeless, placeless, timeless one, which I am finding myself to be, seems to put on a garb of something limited.
So what it seems here, Father, is that within this, there is the ability to believe something. There is some ability to latch on to something. But and so an attribute of me is created. It almost seems like some attribute is
So
created.
let's go really slow. So ability to latch on to what or believe what?
Believe some appearance. It believes appearance, sensation.
Can you believe any appearance? And this appearance is there in front of you. Believe it.
No, it has to have a personal kind of a. I believe. Well, I see an arm moving, but there's no belief going in as to does it affect me or not.
So there's an object in front of you. All the objects are there. Is it possible to believe objects in themselves?
No.
Check.
No.
Yes.
So. It's. I mean,
Yeah, we have time. It's beautiful contemplation.
Can you repeat that again, Father?
Yes. You say that attention goes to various things, various objects, various phenomena, and because of that, there can be a belief in me.
No, only with attention there is no belief. Only with attention there is no belief. Yeah.
So when attention goes to objects, we can either believe them or disbelieve them, and on the basis of that, there's a sense of me or not. And I am asking whether just in the perception of object itself, there is the possibility of belief. What do you all of you say? Yes.
I connect this
Yeah.
with
How?
that's where my attention.
Yes. So the perception of body is there. How you connect?
I believe that I to be this body.
How?
And that
Slowly. So body is appearing, of course. Very well got, I guess. The appearance of this intimate sensations, perception, sensations, which we call this body, is there. Then it is appearing. It appears to the baby also. Right? Then,
when I say I,
yeah.
in your presence,
Yeah.
I associate it with qualityless,
Yeah.
spaciousness.
Yes.
Can't even say that.
Yeah.
It's just, I don't know.
Yeah.
And otherwise, when I say I, it's
Yeah.
like I just connect it.
But why? How does that happen? Not conscious. Let's say how. How do we do this? Suppose the job was the opposite. You say that in the presence, in my presence, you feel that you are this qualityless, attributeless one. You see? But when we are outside of satsang, I associate with this body. So suppose now the task was everywhere, you just see that you are the attributeless and the qualityless one. But now the task, you were coming to a self-help program as to how to associate with the body. You see, suppose it was the opposite way. So then what would you need to do to identify as the body? Just the looking of it? Just the attention on it? Believing what?
That this is all I am.
How would we believe? In the sense, what would we believe? The appearance in itself doesn't offer anything to believe. Is it? What is it that has the possibility of belief?
Identity.
Yes. So slowly, so now look at the body. How you believe it to be you. Take your time. It's good. It's good. Yeah. So belief also goes to that which we call notion. Cannot go to an object by itself. Without the interpretation of an object, there is nothing to believe or disbelieve. You are perceiving objects. In that perception, there is nothing to believe or disbelieve. One particular type of perception has to come, which we call thought. And this thought has been taught to us that this is me. Yes. And then when it comes, I hope he doesn't hurt me, or I hope I get a good insight in satsang today. Something like this. With that, we believe in this me or I, which is very seemingly intimately connected with this body. But motionlessly, can you identify as something? Try to do it. Don't connect to a notion and pose as if you are limited. You see? It's like I give you a role to play. I say, I'm making a movie in which you are the superintendent of police of Delhi. Yeah. Just start playing that role. But can you do it without any notion about it? In the same way, you're playing the role of Meera. But it is impossible to play unless you have some notion of who Meera is. So identity is purely notional. It's purely notional. Even the appearance of all these appearances, the intimacy of sensations, none of this is enough to make a limited or make the play of a limited entity here. So everything can be allowed to appear and disappear as it is. You do not become attached or identified unless you have a concept, you have a notion about yourself. Like in this moment, you are not Meera. Maybe only after I said, you're not Meera, something came, oh Meera, yeah, like that. But empty of that, none of us is a ego, is a person. This is the beauty of your being, that it continues to exist and it needs nothing at all. Your existence is effortless. Your egotism needs a lot of effort. Now the funny thing is the ego has taken on the project of coming to freedom. And it's trying to do it through effort. I have to get to it. We already, our starting point itself becomes as if we are limited one. But that is not starting also from the position of truth. Can we find the one who wants freedom? If I hadn't given all this context and I came to Satsang and said, who wants freedom? Now the question is different. Can we find the one who wants freedom? Can we find the one that is bound?
It's like just like preparing for, but and like very much when you was asking how do you believe in it, how
Yes.
does believe happen, you know? But it's just a fall, really. So even like believing it's a fall. So some energy from somewhere has to come to make this believe.
Yeah.
Somehow.
Yes,
Somehow.
yes, yes. It is, all energy comes from consciousness. You see, belief also is an aspect of consciousness itself. You see? Somehow, in the play, consciousness has designed it in this way that it has believed, it has used up this belief energy and believed itself to be a limited entity, and even its dissolution of false belief. It is extracting all the juice from that play. And that's why it creates this kind of environment of satsang, somebody who is saying, but I stopped believing that I am something like this, and this is how it is. You see, it's all consciousness playing with itself, but it's extracting the taste from every moment of even the dissolution of false belief. I did like this. You can also try it and see what happens. So, yeah, I try it. And I find that know you and know me. Then how is consciousness playing this game with itself? Just for its own joy. That answer can come later. You see? But you're absolutely right that even this play of belief and coming to openness, coming to this letting go, is just a play of consciousness itself. All energy for even all of this is a play of consciousness itself.
And then at the point this energy is not going there anymore.
Yes.
That's it.
Yes. You will find that in the play, it seemed to be designed in such a way that as belief is withdrawn, then not only belief is not so sticky, but you'll find attention is also not so sticky. That would seem to constantly get our attention in the past. You see, now,
How do you draw the belief?
2 ways. This is the main 2 parts in satsang like this, isn't it? So, belief is what? I am something. So, till I am, it is effortless. You just are. Isn't it? Your existence here now is effortless. You just are. But to play as something is tiring, isn't it? Just like, I have to play this way. I have to play. So as that something, which is tiring. So this somethingness can only be attached to you with belief. Can you play as something without believing anything? So how to withdraw belief from this something notion is to first, if your temperament is like that, just let it go and let it be the master's problem, not God's problem. This is the path of surrender. Everything the mind is offering you, Father's problem. That is surrender. You don't even have to say Father's problem. Just saying, just nothing to do with you. My father has to deal with it, he's dealing. That is surrender. Second is that if your temperament is not like that, it's more inquiry oriented, inquisitive, and says, I have to find freedom. Then you pull that into your inquiry and say, who is here that has to find freedom? And if you look without judgment, without any preconceived notions, you will find that there is no such entity here that is bound. No such entity that is bound. So then the notion, I want freedom, does not apply. You see that it is the I that wants freedom just doesn't exist. So there is nothing to believe in that. See, it's like saying, your, your flight to Finland got cancelled. Your mind is saying, your flight to Finland got cancelled. You say, I had no flight to Finland. You find the one that had the flight doesn't exist. So then this thought cannot bother you, cannot get attached to I am. You do not play as if I am something. So what happens if you buy the thought, I want freedom? Then what you're believing about yourself is that I am a seeker. The I am which was effortless and motionless and boundaryless and limitless. That itself picks up the notion I am a seeker. And that itself is a very limiting identity, isn't it? Draws a boundary around you. So now I am seeker, all Sadhguru's problem, father's problem. Or what are you talking about? I don't find this one who is a seeker at all. I don't find the one who is bound. So you notice that these thoughts do not apply to you. It's a wrong number. Somebody calls you, you realize it's a wrong number, and he keeps talking all sorts of gibberish. Will it cause you suffering? Only to the extent that it can sound annoying, but not really. I have to go there, I have to do this, I have to be better, I have to be more worthy, I have to be more devoted. All these are the things of the seeker identity. You see, it is the wrong number. Because the I who it is speaking to does not exist. That is inquiry. As you see that none of this is anything to do with you, belief is not going. As you make it all God's problem, belief is not going. That's why Bhagavan Sri Ramana Maharishi prescribed these two paths, surrender and inquiry. It's all for this. All of spirituality is for this. But most of spirituality is about the sadhana which is needed, the practice which is needed to prevent attention from going to these notions. Okay? So instead of attention going to what the mind is saying, bring your attention to your breath. Okay? Like that. We try to force our attention, keep it with the breath, no chance of any notion getting picked up. Instead of attention going to these notions, attention can go to a mantra. You see, that is the path. Okay? So Those paths which are working on the attention aspect of it, those are the sadhana oriented paths, practice oriented paths. Those paths which are working on the belief oriented aspects of it, those are more the surrender oriented paths, the letting go. You're here. Within 5 minutes, all of you found that primarily, or at least the most unchangingly, you are that which witnesses all that is changing. And yet, we started to explore how is it that this one, which you primarily are, can play as if it is a limited object contained within another limited object, which is made up of what I call the bucket of flesh and blood. As if you're a tiny object contained within this bucket of flesh and blood. That's how most of humanity seems to be spending their time, spending their life, and having no investigation about is there really something called a me contained in any of this? When we start to explore this, you see there cannot be. There just isn't. Nobody has found this.
So when the consciousness starts playing as the mind,
Yes.
since the mind cannot get something which is not objective,
Yes.
it proves that which is not objective is not existing.
Exactly.
So, and something solid is there.
Yes.
There's a body,
Yes.
this thing, that thing. So you are that. Says, can be like that.
That's what it says. He says that the mind in its design cannot truly fathom something which is not objective. You see? So then it relies on whatever objects are there to convince you that you cannot be this non-phenomenal one. You must be an object which is part of this world of objects. And yet your true experience in all moments is contrary to that.
When we start looking into that.
Yes. Actually, the truth is apparent to you motionlessly. Right now, if you were to just meet yourself without an idea, an expectation, without any judgment. Meet yourself without any expectation, judgment, or interpretation. If some objects are there, meet yourself as that which perceives those objects. Who is that? You are perceiving them. This is undeniable. But what can we say about this you, which is perceiving them? That's why Guruji says his piranha question. Piranha question, why? Because he eats up all that is false. The fish, the piranha is the flesh-eating fish. His piranha question, he says, is, can the perceiver be perceived? It's very good.
So when we look notionlessly,
Yeah.
what is seen is the appearance are there, the perception of it is there, and the witnessing of the perception.
Yes. Very good. Yes.
These three things are. I mean, we have to try with that verbally.
Yeah, exactly. The distinction is only conversational.
Yeah. So when I perceive you,
Yes.
without notion, you cannot be Ananda.
Yes. Exactly.
That's a perception.
And you cannot be Keshavdas. Exactly. Isn't it? It is just notions that we have given, theoretical constructs that we have created for appearances that are appearing. There is no such thing as the body.
Yes, yesterday I told when I am traveling from here to Kerala, one night, we were there, okay, we traveled by train. Actually, train is moving, we are
Yes.
not moving. And we have only the experience of jerking and
Yeah, sensation.
all those sensations, nothing else.
Yes.
Now traveling is the
Not travel. We were taught to include all these sensations. Imagine when we were taught, we said, we had to say, okay, everything is you, is your body, except the nose. We would leave this one sensation out. This is not you. Actually, for a baby, this is how it is. Everything is seen as one appearance. But it was taught to separate. This is your hand, this is your head, this is your head. Everything, as parents, we have all done this. Where is your head? Where is your hair? Here. Where is your nose? Here. Everything we reinforced over and over. That is how this plays.
and the person is also reinforced.
Exactly, because your head, your face, this you is reinforced in every notion which we have taught, is it? And yet that is the play of this world. I'm not recommending, by the way, to parents that just tell your kids you're everything. But yeah, there's a time and space for all of this also. Notionlessly, what are you? Is there a boundary you have? Cannot be. The answer is contained in the question, isn't it? Because the boundary itself is just a notion.
I can't ever say boundary or not a boundary. It's
Yeah.
that both questions are
Yeah.
irrelevant.
Yes,
So it's not like, because when I say if you have a boundary, then the mind says, oh, you
Yeah.
know, but actually I can't say if I can't say anything
Yes.
about it.
Yeah. Exactly.
Because this boundary question has confused me a lot in the past, Father, because
Yeah.
it's about, because you might imagine something.
And for those of you who have experienced this, if the mind is showing some visual of some never-ending space, find out where that visual is. Go to that space which contains the visual of never-ending space. It's like the wall which has a painting of infinity. You see? How big is that wall?
Guruji, then we have this boundarylessness. It can only be experienced in the now, in our apparent surroundings, like at one level.
So if all the perceptions that we call surrounding are not there, then are you bound or boundless? So suppose you close your eyes, no visual perception. Suppose it is impossible on this road, there is no audio perception. You just have to imagine it. There is no perception of any sort. Are you now boundary or boundless? So the truth does not need any precondition. It is only the false which needs preconditions. What is the preconditions? There must be the perception of some object, and there must be an interpretation of this perception which is believed. So what sounds like more hard work? The false. The truth is most natural. The false is a lot of effort. But I'm well aware that when effort has become habit, then effort starts to feel like it is effortless, and coming to rest initially can feel like a bit of effort. That is why even Bhagwan said, as long as it feels like you have to make the effort to come to the recognition of who you are, make that. This does not mean that he didn't realize that it is coming to the effortlessness. He also explained that it is keeping the heavy bag down, which for many can seem like effort, but actually the effort isn't carrying it all the time. The burden of personhood is actually effort. You see, effort from what perspective? From the sense that it is the one that consumes energy. Right? That the energy is needed for you to believe yourself to be something limited. But to see that you are not anything limited at all, does not need anything including energy. You are not get this notion that, oh, consciousness is getting tired because it's expending all this energy. Never true like that. God is unlimited reservoir of energy. You know, sometimes we'll use these terms. Like, now you're tired of playing this game. That is just in the design of the alarm clock. God is never tired. When he's done with the game, it is done with the game. It's just alarm clock is saying, come on, you're tired of this now, come. Come back to a better place. Like, you've been hanging out at some place, and then you make a new friend. Yeah, what are you guys doing here? Come, just no effort. I'll show you this other place. And this is so much more fun. So I have this new friend that you're making. What are you doing hanging about here in the realm of personhood? Come, I'll show you a better reality to your own self. You are God. God is here. God is now. Yeah.
So does consciousness need emotions? It has to play some role.
Exactly. It doesn't need anything, but in the design of the play, empirically we say that this play seems to operate only in this way, that without a notion, it does not pick up the pretense of individuality. Now, your question was, can it play some role in the sense that can activities continue to happen from this body motionlessly also? Is that the question? Yes. Activities will continue to happen through the body.
Because for me, it always comes down to studies. If I
Yeah.
drop emotion, then I have a student.
Yeah.
If I drop that identity,
Will the role of student continue to happen? It could.
it won't be dependent on emotion.
It is independent. Like those who have come to this notionlessness, some have continued to be householders and some have gone to the jungles and caves. That's the fun of this movie. You see? What is taken away is this sense of limited me, and therefore the idea of what's going to happen to me. You see, behind this question is the fear what's going to happen to me. You see? So it's very natural for that to come up. You see? And Guruji says that when he was having this recognition, this insight, he had this fear. You see? What the fear would come and say? The mind would come and say, but you're going to become like a beggar. And not only a beggar, he said he would become like a hunchback beggar, Quasimodo. You know, the Quasimodo idea would come to him. So, what's going to happen to me? It's a fear. Because all our life we spend nourishing this idea of what's in it for me, what's going to happen to me. So this fear can be there. So I got to continue to be, like, if my studies, my parents will be really upset.
So I can stop latching on to it.
Yeah. And I've seen both examples where motionlessly you find yourself studying more. This pressure of study well, study exams
Because the attention sometimes goes
goes
more to
into
the notion
more to
of-
that, exactly. And sometimes I've seen that they just, I think, just walk out of your life in a way like Guruji says he walked out of his life. Either way, it is grace.
From a sensation point of view, it's getting clearer and clearer. I have no sensation, like my hands rubbing. Mind can say whatever, but there is no notion of my any sensation. Visually, however, there is the strong notion that vision is going out. You know,
Okay.
that notion.
Okay.
So I would love to
So vision is the perception of sight. There is sight which is here. And the sight is coming back to what? Which is
consciousness to I mean, I'm aware of the hand.
yes, you say that.
I'm aware of the visual of the hand.
Sure. Yes. So everything, all attention is coming back to yourself.
Yes.
And this self, you find, has no attributes, no location, no duration, none of this phenomenal stuff. So, in what way does visual appearance convince you of a limited me?
I think
That's it.
I
That's the way. Sorry, I'm making it a little funny, but this is the right answer, actually. You see, I know what you're talking about because I speak of this. The seeming centrality of the visual perspective seems to be contained here. So it seems like there is an object me peering out of this, like this, like that. But if you just for a minute investigate and go backward like this, saying, okay, where is it actually going back to? Who is here? Who is accepting all of this visual content? And you find that there is no, it has no objective, no boundary, no size, no shape. It cannot be contained in anything. In fact, in our investigation, you will find that that which we are calling a head is a set of sensations which are appearing within that. So, so when we look this way, it can seem like, oh, there must be an object here sitting and assimilating all this visual input. But when you really look this way, say, where is all of this coming? Where is all of this coming? Like Guruji sometimes says, who is looking from behind those eyes? It's a very beautiful question. You find that there is no object there. And behind those eyes, so sometimes I say, is the back of your head in front of you or behind?
That is clear, Father. That is clear.
That is clear.
Very clear. Yeah.
So now, what happens with the visual perspective?
You know, what happens with the visual perspective is it's putting the world outside of you. That is what technically, for if I just look at it very clearly, that's what it's doing. It's putting the this sensation of seeing is the only sensation that I find is putting the appearance outside of me.
Yes,
Yeah.
But only when uninvestigated, isn't it?
Yes. So
In
I
the
haven't
sense
probably
of-
looked at it. Yeah.
Yeah, only when there is an appearance of a world, you see, and this world is being perceived by a me, you see, this me is just presumed. Anybody who looks back and sees who is all of this coming to, will find that that which is here actually contains all of this perception and the space in which all of this perception is happening. So this is the invitation to check what is the nature of the me, which seems to be perceiving the world. That's why this question is still very good. Can this perceiver be perceived? If we start to investigate the nature of this me, then you will find that nobody sitting here like that we presumed all this time. It's a crazy presumption in a way, isn't it? No doctor, no surgeon has cut up this body and found, oh, here's your me. Can you just hold on to it while I finish the operation? Nothing like that. It's just a presumed entity. There is nobody like that. Yeah.
Now, when the mind is absolutely like this is just another notion.
Yeah.
That I just said.
Please.
But when the mind is absolutely still is when we can actually recognize this, you know. This
Yes.
is a very like also like
Yeah.
when I recognize it, it's not there, but also it's coming and going.
And I know what you mean. And you're right that it is a notion, actually.
Yeah.
Because let the mind be as noisy as it wants. Yeah? Let the mind be as noisy as it wants, and use that also an opportunity to ask what perceives even this. Yeah? The mind is noisy. So who's noticing all this? Like that. Because otherwise, what can happen is that we can have this notion, like you said, of the expectation that when the mind is quiet, then I am free or something like that. Let the mind do whatever it wants. Just like I say often, isn't it? If you didn't have to cross airport road, then it doesn't bother you how much traffic is there. If you feel like you have to pass through something, you have to overcome the mind, or you have to transcend the mind, or something like that. You see? Then it can feel like, oh, it's good, I can cross if there's not so much. I'm saying, as you are all there is. The state of your mind also is unimportant. Let everything come and go as it likes. You see? You see? And you will suffer only when you give your consent, your assent to the idea that you are a limited one. You see? You can only suffer then.
Where is the understanding happening?
Huh? Understanding is because you're having an insight about these things. So this understanding is different from classroom understanding.
We must balance what the understanding is.
Yes. Yes, because this understanding, as opposed to classroom understanding, which is we are collecting a set of concepts, here you're just seeing for yourself that this is true. So this understanding is a deeper level than just having a set of concepts. It's like you're getting a guided tour in your own being. That's a different understanding from just reading a book about your being. Once you go to these aquariums, you see the shark, you see the whale, you see the various types of fish. That's a different understanding from reading. If you just say, oh, the blue whale is like this, the shark is like this. So we got used to a conceptual sort of understanding. And satsang like this is you're being given a guided tour out of this universe.
All words are actually same.
Yeah. Are you talking about me? Yeah. Just thorns that we're using to remove other thorns. Just notionlessly. What is there to say? So I've said that all that is being spoken in Satsang is because while you are the self. Okay, suppose you don't have to say anything at all. Yeah. But what am I getting? Really like that. So when Bhagavan said silence is the best teaching, it is absolutely true. But there comes a point of time in which the silence as a teaching can be assimilated. As you come fresh to satsang, you're sitting in silence, the mind is fully on. Am I getting this? Maybe it is the darshan. If I look into his eyes, like, all this can still go on in the silence. It's just like. So then, because all this is going on, then the master says, "You are the self. There is no separation. Nothing has ever happened." You know. But you know, yesterday I know I'm the self, but yesterday you know what my husband said this, and you know. Then, but who is the I? Or what are you presenting yourself to be? Yes, it's clear. There is no I. There is no limited I here. This is my existence, my consciousness. I am aware even of that. But you know, these feelings, and the mind comes and says, yes, you have to get rid of these feelings first, then only you are free. Because this but is there, then. So that's how satsang actually continues.
So, in this appearance,
Can you put on this a little bit? Okay. Now
It's not essential. Was noisy now?
now it should be fine.
in this appearance, perception of it, and the witnessing or knowing of it.
Yeah.
If this knowing of it or witnessing of it was not there, these things does not exist.
Exactly.
But we take the other way because the tree is the I am knowing.
Because we are relying on
And the
this
object-
part
Yeah.
as a presumed entity me. You see? And when it becomes an investigated entity, then you find that actually it doesn't exist.
So it goes the opposite way. Normally
It is the
we think
opposite.
that the tree is the, so I am seeing.
Yeah.
This is the opposite way. The tree is seeing because of the knowing or witnessing of it. Otherwise, that won't exist.
That is a very important point. Because many times, even when I've asked, "Are you aware now?" Okay, I can only say this because I'm aware of something. How many have said that? I can only say I'm aware because I'm aware of. So then, how do you know what aware is? Busy. Because when we say, I am walking on the street, we know what walking is and street is. I'm sitting on the chair, because we know what sitting is and chair is. When I say, are you aware now? You say, I am aware. I can say I'm aware only because I know the off. No, you know this aware very, very primarily, but you don't know it phenomenally. See, I wonder if these words are reaching somewhere. We are comfortable because phenomenal concepts like sitting, standing, walking. So we can say sitting on a chair, standing on the road, walking on the street. We know both these concepts phenomenally. When you ask, am I aware? Yeah, I'm not. I might actually not be aware, but there's a chair. So that chair, you see, makes me aware. Something like that. But what you know what aware is? Who did somebody teach us to be aware? We were taught to stand. We were taught to sit. We were taught to walk. We were taught to talk. What taught us to be aware?
And without awareness, care is not there. That way, nobody, we can't.
What is this aware itself?
When you right now asked about how do you play to pick it up, so it seems, yes, of course, that limitless, the one that is, feels when the objects come and the notions that in a way which is so much natural will somehow look for on the outside. Like if we are changeless, constantly the notion that we're taught to be changeless and looking for it on the
Yes,
outside.
exactly.
So all the though there is no attribute here, but because of the I don't know, because of the communication, but in a way that first the notion that this is separate, and then obviously then once this becomes separate, then everything else becomes separate, and then this ideas of this is how certain this should be, this is how certain that should be, should or shouldn't be. Actually, all should or shouldn't be is in a way the attributes of what is, like limitless, boundless, unchanging, eternal, without conditions. And because this happened, and then that's why probably, when you say that you have to take an effort to make it possible. So of course it's an effort to really like stick to something here. Whereas play is that you just show that all of this is unchanging, and what is this?
The beautiful part about this is that these truly spiritual notions are atomic. So when you say the unchanging, you're right. That you can feel like I have to find something which is unchanging and yet phenomenal. And yet you will never find it on this side of the I am. You see? You'll never find the unchanging on this side of the I am. You have to cross this portal of being. You see, and as you taste your being, you find, unchanging. But ultimately, even this is changing. What is aware of even this? Then you see the atomic potential of these notions, unchanging, the one witness, all of these atomic notions in Vedanta are provided because you will not find the answer to those in any phenomenon.
So in a way, it's like and everybody that really says that everything is just point of view.
Yes.
So
this world, this apparent world, is just dancing to the tunes of your inner longing. So, if the longing which consciousness is playing with is to experience its individuality, there's as much sugar and spice in this world to play as the limited one. So it can point, everything can seem to point to a limited you also. You see? But when the longing changes, when the quality of the play, it's like consciousness wants to change the channel. You see? So I'm going to this limited play to the play as consciousness itself, and you can think like, oh, the same stuff is actually pointing to the reality of me. You see? So,
and yet both of them never changed anything.
yes. For both of them, the delusion is also just the delusion that consciousness is playing with. The dissolution of the delusion is also a play just of consciousness. Nothing has ever really happened to consciousness.
So play is something happening in consciousness, not to consciousness.
Yes.
That's what.
Yeah. Nothing has ever happened to consciousness. Sometimes we just use language.
Yeah.
Father, is it right to say that I am aware cannot be grasped by mind at all? Yes. Yes. Feels like this realm of time and space is the only thing that mind knows. Yes. What is the mind? It is only an interpreter of phenomena. It can pose as if it is the Sadguru. You see? It can pose as if it knows everything. So initially, if you're new to Satsang, many times when we talk about awareness, the mind is also trying to present itself as the master, saying that which is boundless. And the mind is active at that time, painting this visual of boundless black space, something like that. You see? And we say, see, you are that. You are that. I can give it to you. I can offer you this. But even then, what is aware of that painting of unlimited black space or white light or something like that? So it tries to be a collaborator, but so that it can have some uh, place in all of this. See? But what is it? What it is offering up is just photocopies, Xerox copies of what is being shared. What your true insight, you see, which is a deeper, intuitive knowingness about the truth, the mind cannot keep up with that at all. And yet you can give it some points for trying. Just try, to say consciousness is designed this one to be very persistent. It doesn't give up with unlimited, unchanging reality. Let me paint this. Well, some of you might be visualizing some white light, some big dark space, something like that. And that is when that still disassociation between awareness and I can happen. Because if you just took a visual representation of it, of the self from the mind, and say, nothing is happening to that, but what about me? Okay? That's why I asked, so what is aware even of this awareness? Because you might be taking it to be a representation of awareness, not awareness itself. But when you look at that question, what is aware of this awareness? Then the mind starts to struggle. Because it painted this painting of big black nothingness, empty space. Mhm. And then what is aware of what? How will it go beyond that? Now that is where you reach the edge of mental conceptualization, mental visualization. Then you say, it's very beautiful to come and say, actually, I have not understood anything you've ever said. Many of you have said that. I have not understood anything. Really, I have not got it. I felt like, because for a long time it can feel like, as it's been spoken, the collaborator, this seeming collaborator, but actually distractor, has been has been playing with these imagery. And you think, yes, I'm seeing it. What is aware of even your deepest insight, which you feel like is your deepest insight, what is aware of that? I have no idea. And that's a beautiful moment actually. Because all our visualizations, all our conceptualizations, all our imagination have no place now to go. There's nothing left. It can be held on to. And for some, it can, for me, what is sounding good news, for them, it sounds like, what have I been doing here, man, for 3 years? What? And then you see that all of the things which you heard in Satsang, like you are not a thing, you're not an object at all, even beyond space. If you were to actually look, you would hear that actually it's been said all along. The truth of what you are is so beyond being fathomable by the mind that it can surprise the best of us. There's no visual, no concept, no experience, nothing is relevant to the truth of what you are.
But still it is.
And still it has always been, is it? A simpler way to look at the mind is to look at it as the subtitle track. Because even to say that the mind knows something is to give it too much power. We say that also in Satsang. Oh, the mind knows only this. The mind can only fathom this. But actually, it's just like a subtitle track, which the projector, the consciousness, the projector on the screen of this movie itself has put in over there. There is not a entity called mind. It is just another theoretical construct, a name that we use for this narrator, subtitler. I used to have this example many years ago. Whose funeral was it? Who remembers? Am I here? There was a funeral in which they got the wrong sign artist. You know what happened? Yes, it is Nelson Mandela. Nelson Mandela's funeral, and that time President Obama was called to make a speech. So what happened in South Africa was that they got this because they wanted the speech to be understood by those who couldn't hear. They got the sign expert also to come. But they just hired somebody. They probably didn't check his credentials properly. They hired somebody, and everybody was watching that speech. Found that there's something strange about the sign guy because whatever Obama could be speaking, this one was like, some strange movements. He was just repeating. And then they got lots of complaints saying, what was this? He was not doing sign at all. He was just some fake guy who took the money from the government to come there and make an appearance. See? So this interpreter, the mind, is like that. Which is coming up with this interpretation of this. It has nothing to do with reality. See? It's just that because it's so animated and so always there, so authoritative in its words. Yeah? That it can seem like, oh, this is truly my reality. And that is why I say that as we live through the lens of this mind, it can feel like we're living this very insipid photocopy sort of life. You're already so contained. You meet somebody first time, mind is already started. Oh, he looks like this. He's not cut his hair. So, or something like that. By the time everyone will come close and saying hello, also already we have an idea of what we are meeting. You see? Instead of meeting that even phenomenal appearance fresh, we are meeting even the phenomenal appearance in a Xerox, in a photocopy. This is the interpreter. Through the lens of this interpreter, it makes this life seem so limited, so insipid. This has to drop away. I don't know. Actually, even now, like for example, you don't know whether you will study a single word from now on or not, isn't it? We don't actually know. So none of us know anything about the next 5 minutes, the next 2 minutes, next 1 minute. We don't know. And this I don't know has been a scary notion because we have considered ourselves to be a limited object in this world. As you're recognizing now that you are boundless, you are shoreless, you're that shoreless ocean. These lines, they just stay with me, they're so beyond anything available phenomenally. You are that shoreless ocean in which the arcs of the universe, they come and go. So strong, so mind-blowing. Or that shoreless ocean in which the arcs of the universe, they come and go. So as you're coming to insight about this, then this fear of what's going to happen to me, what is the next moment going to bring, as this drops away, as this is not given much belief, then you meet life with so much openness. Whatever it can bring, let it bring. Thank you all so much for being in Satsang today. Sadhguru Sri Moji Baba ki Jai.
Sadguru Shri Ananta Ji ki Jai.